let me quickly configure this so that I can show you something load balancing stuff in RIP and other stuff. Okay. So I've opened all the routers. Let me go to R1. So I'll be using the RIP version 2, which will be having all classless, or you can say the VLSM1 classless network. So I'll say interface serial 2 by 0. I'm sorry, the address. Yeah, change settings.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
After this configuration, shall I ask one question?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I'll be configuring 0, 4, and 6, 8. Taking the 12, 13. I should have used something else for this. But anyway, that's it. Quad 3. I'm sorry, I think I've configured the wrong
This
R3. This
fifth
is
one is
R5.
miss.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. Go to R5. It's not. interface, it will be 2 by 1, right? I need to change R3. I have given to R5. Okay, fine. Serial 2 by 3. I'll give the IP address this to later. Let's skip to R4. Guys, switch off your mics. Okay, R1 is done. Only R6 is remaining now. R6 will be having, yeah, Shivendra, ask me what you want to say. Serial 2 by 0. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, when I was download the syllabus of ENCORE
Mm-hmm.
from learning.cisco.com,
Mm-hmm.
there was showing version 1 and
Version?
version 1 syllabus ENCORE.
Mm-hmm.
And on the Cisco official website,
Okay.
cisco.com,
Mm-hmm.
and when they go to the certification of CCNP,
Mm-hmm.
there is they will be showing that version 2 now. So
Okay.
both are on the Cisco website.
Okay.
So which one should I follow?
I didn't get you exactly. So you downloaded. So which one? I showed you one, right? Directly you can go into the CCNP, and then you can go to the Encore, and that syllabus will be followed.
Because whenever I am going to go for learning.network.com, learning.cisco.com, no?
Hmm?
In that website, it is showing version 1 ENCORE syllabus.
Okay.
And most of the things it is showing that just like fabric capacity planning and all those things.
Hmm?
And when I gone through the version 2 syllabus,
Hmm?
it is removed from there. So many topics are removed from version 1. So that is why I am confused that which one.
So the new syllabus, whatever it is there, will follow that one only. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So because whatever the legacy that might have been removed. Okay. So yeah. 1, 2, 5, 6, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. I think R6, where it is R6. Right. I think I have given something wrong. Let me check.
That was network ID.
Yeah. Show IP interface brief. Okay, I have should have given 2 by 0 should be 13, 14. Okay, 13, 14, 16. I should have given, right? Yeah,
Mm.
interface. Serial 2 by, it's a router 6, 2 by 0. Sorry,
No, no, no.
16, 17,
To the same
18.
network. It should be 21.
No, no, actually, I'm talking about this site, this interface. So I think 17, this should be 18 only, right? Yeah, that's correct. What's the problem? Then R4 I have given. Let me recheck show IP interface brief. Oh, yeah, that's the problem. Serial 2 by 0.
16 to 20, no.
17, yeah, that's right. 17, 18, and 19 and 20, right? That's the problem. 17, 18, 19 is the broadcast, 20, 21, right? Okay. On R6, 21.
Yeah, that I was saying 21.
Not, yeah, not on this interface. Sorry.
2 by 3.
Yep. Interface 2 by 3.
SSS 2 by 3. Serial 2 by 3.
Right.
168 1.21. Yeah.
No, it's fine. Go back to R3. So why I took this many routers to show you there is something called load balancing, and that's why I have taken these many. Say 2 by 3 IP address 192.168.1.22, and let's take the uh,
Mm,
loopbacks also. Interface loopback 0 IP address on R3. So it will be take that 3.3.3. Okay. So that's fine. Now what I'll do is I'll run rip on all these interface and say router rip, enter version 2, and I will say no auto summary, guys. I'm already adding this because I don't want to be summarize any of the network to classless, right? So no auto summary, and then you can say the network. I'm just advertising. I'm not making as a neighbor as yesterday I showed you individual that was unicasting, right? So I'll say 192.168.1.0 network and 192.168 1.12 network. So 0 network is running here, 12 network is running here. Between R2, R1 and R2 0, and R1 and R4 is 12. And the loopback which is running on R1 will say 1.1.0, right? That's it. So I have ran the rip. Let's go to R2. Say exit router. Guys, switch off your mics. Router rip. Version 2. Network. Let's say 192.168.1.0 and network 192.168.1.4. That's it. Don't have any loopback. I'll say no auto summary. Additionally, that's it. On R2, I'll go to R5. Sorry. Router rip. Version 2. Haha. Version 2. Oh my God. Do no auto summary and say network. 192.168 1.4 and network 192.168 1.8. And yeah, don't have any loop back here. Go to R4 router rip version 2 node summary network 192.168.1.12, network 192.168.1.13, 14, and 16, right? That's it. And don't have any loop back. Go to R6. Show, no, sorry, router rep version 2, network 81.16 and 192.168.1.20. No loop back, only on R3. We'll go back to R3 and say config t router rep version 2, network 192.168 1 dot which one it was 8, and the network 20. Correct, and the loopback and the node or something. So I have configured all the routers as this one. Let's check what exactly happening. I'll say show IP route. First of all, do we yes, we are receiving all the routes over here. You can see the 3 network route is available. That means R1 is receiving R3's route, and I'll check the R3 saying that show IP route. So yes, this guy is also receiving 1.1.1, which is this network, right? So the thing is, right now, if you check, right now there is only one path, but let me show you. It will take some time. I think there is something. Just wait. So let me check on R2. Does it? I'll go to R2, show IP route. R5, show IP route is showing via 10. I think any one of the connection between any of the router is losing. We need to check it out. So let's check this way.
I think on 3 there is no set command is missing. I believe so.
On router 3?
Yeah.
Okay, just check. Say 1 and 13. Okay, fine. Let's show IP protocols. Yes. Advertise. Oh yeah, I have not advertised the below network. I think only. That I router rep version 2 network 12 and now the summary. R3. Okay, let's check show IP route. Now show IP protocols. Fine. Show IP interface brief 10.6. Oh yes, you can see this is down. 1.6
was missing.
Yeah, 2. Okay, which one it is? Interface
2/1.
2/1 is not there. No, we have configured wrong interface.
No,
Oh.
it is 2.3 also. You can see on the 22 2/3.
Yeah,
It is down.
oh, it's yeah, it's down. Correct. Yes. Let's say interface first of all, serial 2.1. Let's say default interface first of all on this. Not taking, no problem. Say shut. Okay, serial 2 by 3, no shutdown. Show IP interface brief. Okay, fine. Now it's up. Take some time. Show IP interface brief again. This is up. This is up. Right. Check on R5. Both are up. R6. Both are up. I think now it should be good. Okay, now Shivendra, I'm just trying to show you something on load balancing side, but we should get two paths from R1 to R3, at least going this way, and R1 to R3 this way. So I think in configuration, we have missed somewhere in between. That's why it's not receiving. The 3.3 should come in two paths, via two paths, which is because the hop count is 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, this side both are same. So it should load balance. So if I show you guys, yeah, we will continue definitely. If I'll show you on R1, if you say show IP protocols, so right now, so always remember that either it is RIP1 or RIP2, it supports maximum 4 path load balancing. It is called equal load balancing. So RIP doesn't support any unequal cost load balancing like EIGRP and other protocols, but RIP supports the equal cost load balancing. And we can change this maximum path to more than that. Let's say if you have multiple paths going from one source to destination, you can change this value to up to 16. So by default, it's 4, and you can change in the lower end routers. In the old routers, you can say change it up to 16. But high end routers like this 7200 series router, you can change it up to 32. So how you can change that? You can go to router RIP and say maximum path. So this is the command, guys. So you can say maximum path is maximum. You can change it up to 32. Once you change this path up to 32, it will be gonna take maximum 32 links. Yeah, obviously this is impractical because you will not be having that many paths. But yes, if you are like you can change up to 16 or more than at least 4, because by default it take only 4 paths. So if you have multiple paths from one source to destination, you can change this. So this is called the load balancing part. So in the load balancing, what will happen if I change this to, let's say, 16? So if you check again, show IP protocols, sorry, show IP. So you can see this guy has refresh his routing table. So you can see the maximum path is now changed to 16, right? So this is the one of the way if you want to change the maximum path. And when you say show IP route, so in the routing table right now, I'm not sure. Like maybe somewhere in one router we are missing the connectivity, and it what it will do is R1 to R3, which is going that side, and it will be showing you the two paths over here, right? It should show the two paths. So that's what we want to check it out where we are missing. So we'll check it out. And apart from that, we will continue discussing the authentication part over here. Okay. And I'll show you one more thing. It's called the timers and the distance. So, okay, before moving to those stuff, we will find out where we are missing one of the interface. So in this, one more thing you can do is that is called the timer changing. So for timers by default, you can see if I say show IP protocols, let me do it. Yeah, here it is. So when you say show IP protocols, it will be showing you the default update timer. This is called the periodic update, which is 30 seconds, right? And the hold down timer or the invalid timer is 180 seconds. The flush is 120. So let's say if you want to change these timers. So how you can change these timers? Again, you have to go into the routing, router RIP, and say timers, and say basic, and then say this is the your hello timer. Sorry, it's update timer. So let's say if I want to change the update timer to 10 second, and then say the invalid timer, I should say instead of 180 second, I should say it's 30 seconds. And your hold on timer is again, I'll say 40 seconds, right? And the flush timer, I'll say, so usually fold down timer should be more than the flush timer. So I'll say it's a 50 seconds and then the 40 seconds, right? So this is the way if you want to change the timers, but make sure when you change these timers, you will be changing on all the routers. Otherwise, there will be no use because only this guy will be sending the. So this is the change required when you want to make RIP more fast, or you can say the convergence of the network. If you want to make it as a more faster, so in that case you can configure this timers, right? And everybody knows the RIP AD value is 120, which is actually higher, right? Which is very high. Like if you go for static route, it's 1 or 0, and if you go for RIP, it's 120. For EAG up, it's 90. For OSPF, it's 110, right? So it's a higher one. So let's say if you want to prefer this path over the AD value, so you can change this AD value as well. Just put the command distance and in the under the RIP, and you can change the administrative distance value. Let's say uh, it's a distance value. You can change it as a, let's say if I want to change this as a maybe say 80, right? So if you want to change this AD distance value to 80, this one, and you can give this command distance and say 80, and then again you have to do the same. So for timers and distance, you may have to make sure on all the routers you have changed this, because this is required, because if one router you have changed distance 80, it will not make any sense, right? So every router you have to change the distance command and the timers. So this is the again more thing. So we were talking about the load balancing and authentication. So I want to show the authentication as well. So let's check first of all that what happened to that load balancing. It should show two paths, either from this side and this side, because the hop count is same. Let's say if R1 wants to communicate to R3 loop back, so it will be having 1, 2, 3 hops, and from other side also 1, 2, 3 hops. So let's analyze that. Otherwise, we'll move to authentication part. So that is also important. I'll tell you what exactly authentication looks like and how it impacts. So if that side is correct, and let's go to R2.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Sir, I want to know about what is the timing for this batch?
Yeah, timing will be 7 to 9 from next Saturday and Sunday.
Because my job is rotational job 24 into 7.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mostly, my job is night shift.
Okay. So what time you start?
Yeah, right now I have to go, sir.
Yeah, no problem. So you can move and you can watch it later. The few. So I'll be wrapping this up. I think maybe another 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, you can set Anand Kumar. You can set AD value to 110 also, but the problem will be then it will be ties. So if you, let's say if you are running, let's say in the same environment, this side I have ran a RIP and this side I have run OSPF. So both will act as the same. That's the problem.
Okay, so system will allow it. So we
Yeah, system will allow. System doesn't know
Okay.
what you are changing. So let's say if you want to change the AD value for OSPF, you can.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So these protocols, see, actually, what we understand in CCNA, most of the time, what we understand in CCNA is what are the default things available and how to configure, right? So if whatever you have studied in CCNA, those were basic, and those were like you can say the stock configuration, or the stock part of the any of the protocols. But when you move a little advanced, you can completely customize each and everything. You can customize, right? So that's what I was trying to show you, the maximum path command. For that, it will load balance more than 4 paths, right? So okay, show IP interface brief. I think, I don't know where we are missing 2 and 5. Okay, this says 2 and 5, fine, right?
And what we have
Then,
advertised here, there,
sorry,
and what we have advertised there. Can we
we
check
have
that also?
advertised both, I think. Let me check. So I think show IP protocols. Yeah, it will take it as a zero, no? But you can see both are there, 1 and 6. But if you say show run, I'm sorry, show run, not a summary is okay. Interface because they are receiving route
See,
interface.
only
No,
one network we have advertised here in the
no, no.
report.
Actually, the problem is when you say a router rip and the network command, it will not take because it is assuming that it's a whole network. That's a problem here. So if you give this 1.4 network also, it is not gonna take that actually. It'll say show IP route. Sorry, show IP protocols. So still it will take this one only because it's assuming this is a class full.
It's a catch here.
Yeah. So that's not the problem. R5 show IP protocols. Yep, that's fine. Show run. Not a summary. That's a version 2. Oh, okay. R2. Did we have given version 2? Where is the RIP one? Yes, we have. Okay. R2 is fine. R5 is fine. Go back to R4. Let's check show IP route. So what's the problem? Show IP protocols. Yes, that's 13 and 18. Show run. That's also fine. Go to R6. I think this is the culprit. Maybe show IP route R6 and R3. That's the problem. I think show IP interface brief. That's okay. 18 and 21. Fine. Show IP protocols. That's true. Show run. Not a summary. I have not given here. Just give it from the T. Router rep version 2. No, or a summary. All right.
Section. Tip.
Yeah, you can give a section or include rip. That's okay. That's fine now. Let's go to R3. 3, that's fine. Right. Show IP route. Show IP interface brief. It looks like good now. And it's advertisement is, yeah, it will take that. Show IP route. Okay, here it is, guys. So that was the problem. Was node summary on R6
Yeah.
actually. Yep.
Yeah,
So you can see now this guy is receiving one network from both the sides, right? So it is load balancing. This is what I want to show you. So let's say if I take one more path and I'll attach two more routers between this, right? So what will happen? It will show you three paths. So you can change. So this is the load balancing happening. What will happen? Let's say if 1.1.1 wants to communicate to 3.3.3, and if any packet comes, what it will do is half of the packet it will send this way, half of the packet it will send this way. Okay, so that is called the load balancing. But it is what it is happening is, so in an interview or in exams, if somebody asks you that can we have the load balancing in RIP? Yes, you can. And what kind of? It's unequal or equal. So it's the equal cost load balancing. Equal cost means here the cost, the metric is calculating on the basis of hop count. So if the hop count is same from one source to destination, it will be load balancing your data, right? So similarly, you can see this guy is receiving two paths. One is from this one, and one is from this side, and both have the same hop count. This three means this three is mentioned over here. The 120 is AD, and this three means it's a hop count value. And similarly, if you go to R1 and check out show IP route, you will be having the two paths for 3.3.3. Here you can see, right? So I showed you when you say show IP protocols, right? Let's say if you want to change the maximum path, so maximum path you can change here. Let's say if you have more than four paths, so by default, again one more thing, by default RIP can only load balance up to four equal load balancing, right? But by default it is. If you want to change it, you can make it up to 32 normally in the high end routers. But if it is a low end router, you can make it up to maximum 16. Okay, so that is the catch here. You can answer in the interviews. And yesterday I talked about the passive interface. So passive interface, I showed you two things. So one way is, I'll show you again. Let's say passive interface is to stop routing updates on that side, right? So I showed you. Let's say if you have multiple LAN side and unnecessarily the packet is moving to those sites, and if hacker is sitting, he can hack those packets and get your routing table downloaded. So if you say router RIP, so you can either say passive interface and the loopback specific. Let's say if I want, because I don't want to send any traffic on the loopback, because loopback you can think as this is the Ethernet side. Yeah, this is the gigabit Ethernet which is connected to your switch. So if it is connected with switch and you want to give the passive interface command, this is important. Like if somebody asks you in interview where we use passive interface, you can say in the Ethernet side, because we don't want to send any kind of traffic in the Ethernet, because no way nobody is going to attach routers there, right? So for security also, for the this command passive interface, we will be using for only Ethernet. So our Ethernet is loopback, that we have virtual interfaces. So you can configure this passive interface command on this side, loopbacks. Or I told you yesterday, if you want to completely do the unicasting and you don't want to send any kind of thing, so you can mention this command, default passive interface command. So this means what it will happen is it will stop on all the interfaces, whatever you have. Let's say you have 5 interfaces connected with router 1, or either connected or either not connected. It will make all the passive, means all passive for RIP. They are not going to send the RIP traffic only. Let's say if you have configured EIGRP, yeah, they will send. But on the top of that, when you say default passive interface under the RIP, that means it is going to stop the all updates, outgoing updates for the RIP only, right? And if you configure this passive interface, then yesterday I showed you about the said that if you want to give the manual neighbor, so in RIP also you can say neighbor command, right? So that was the one way to have the unicast instead of multicast or the broadcast. So remember, this passive interface is very important. Either you say passive interface loopback or the Ethernet, or either you say the default passive interface. That means it will be making all the interfaces as passive, and you want to exclude specific one. You can go into the interface and say no. You can go here and say no passive interface number, whatever you want. So I'll say no passive interface like this, and say I don't want serial 2 by 0 as a passive interface, because you have given the default passive interface command. So you want to remove it, you can remove it. Either you can configure with the neighbor command that yesterday I showed you for the unicasting. So that's the catch over here. So for load balancing, you can chain these paths, and you can have the multiple paths from one source to destination. Let's say now another part is another security reason we can configure the authentication between the routers, between the point-to-point communication. Reason being that let's say R1 is going to send the traffic, the RIP packets to R2. That's the way he is gonna get the routing update and routing table he will create. Let's say if I'm having doubt that maybe somebody in between R1 and R2 or R1 and R4 or anywhere in between routers, and anyone can capture the packet, or maybe in the Ethernet side, the LAN side, which is connected here, R1 with the loopbacks and the virtual interfaces. So I am doubting that somebody will capture my RIP packet and download my routing table, entire routing table, which is this much, right? So to avoid that, we have one more thing which is called authentication. So how you can configure the authentication? Let me show you. So what you have to do is, first of all, you have to create some keys. So similarly, let's say if you want to lock something, you should have the keys of that, right? So first of all, we have to create the keys. I'll say key okay, and say keychain, right? And the name of the keychain. So keychain name is, let's say, I'll say test one. So I am creating the keychain. Keychain is test one. Once you created the keychain, and then you can say whatever the key you want to create. So key number, okay. So key number is, let's say, key one, and the key identifier is key one. So I'm creating this one, right? Enter key one, okay, and then you can say the key string. Key string is the password, whatever the password you want. So I'm saying key string will be something, let's say Cisco. Cisco is the password of the first key, right? Enter. Right. So you have created one key right now, and you can create multiple keys when how much you want. So let's say if I want to create one more key, so I'll say, and under the same key name, if you want, then you can say key number two, like this, right? So but let's have the one only. So I have configured the key, but what I have to do is I have to apply this authentication on the interface. Let's say I'm going to apply on 2 by 1, right? How you can apply? Just go to the interface serial 2 by 1, and say, I'm sorry, serial, and say IP rep authentication. So there are two modes actually. So one, first of all, mode means actually if you want to have the plain text passwords, or either you want to have the encrypted one. So plain text, let's say if somebody is watching you behind while doing the configuration, and if you give show run, it will show you your text, because it's a plain text one. It will show the text and the password in the running configuration. But if you use as a MD5, that means it's a message as 5, and which will be encrypting your passwords as well. So I'm using the MD5, and then say IP rep authentication. So this is on the interface side, IP rep authentication, and then say key. So keychain, whatever the name you have given. So I have given the test, right? It was test or test one. I think, yeah, it's test one. So I have created whatever the test, the chain. So this is the, so right now I have configured the authentication on the interface, right? What will happen? What will happen right now? Now this guy is gonna send the RIP update using the encrypted method, right? And what will happen? Whatever the update he is sending to this guy, right? He will receive in the encrypted one, and he say, I don't know this keys and all. So this guy R4 will not gonna receive any update from R1, but R4 is already have the routing table. Let's see what exactly happened with the R4, and I'll show you with the debug also. I'll say show IP protocols, no, show IP route. Okay, so right now, if you see the 1.1.1, so 1.1.1 is this one. So this traffic is already coming from R1 right now. And if you see again, show IP route, so right now it is receiving, right? Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll configure the debug and on the R4, say show IP, no, debug IP rep. Let's see what kind of packet is sending via R4, R1. Okay, so it's received update right now, right? And it is sending the updates. Fine. On the 2 by 1 interface. So I think the RIP, okay, R1, and it is R4, right? Yes, it is R4. Let's check that its authentication is configured. It says show run. Oh, I haven't ran that authentication command, I think here, no?
We applied on interface.
Just a sec. But I should have created the which one? Oh, I haven't applied. Which interface I have applied then? No, I haven't applied it. 2 by 1. Keychain? Where is the keychain? Where is my keychain? Come on. Whoa.
I think we have configured in different router then
Maybe.
because we configured in
Yeah, we configured. Ah,
R3.
are we configured on R3? Okay. You should have told me at that time. No problem. We'll say interface. There is no 2 by 1, so there is no use. Whatever. No use. Let me go with the R1 back. Conf T keychain, right?
We can apply on any of the other interface, na, which is we have already configured, so we can just apply on any.
Yeah. We can do that also. Okay, fine. We will apply in the 2 by 3 in that case. Interface serial 2 by 3 and say IP rip authentication. First of all, mode should be the encrypted one, MD5. Enter and say IP rip authentication. And then you will say the keychain, and keychain is test1. So make sure this the caps log or whatever the keychain name is proper. If it is wrong, and then you will be having the issues. So I have configured on 2 by 3, right? Let's check. Show run. Here it is my keychain available. So this is my keychain test and key1, and password is Cisco. And on the interface 2 by 3, here it is. So okay, so IP rip authentication. Now what should happen? What should be happening? This guy should not send any update to R6. R6 should be receiving the authenticated packet, right? The encrypted packet actually. So first of all, let me enable the debug on this device. It's a debug IP rip. So let's see what exactly he's trying to send. Okay, so he's sending receiving update on 2 by 0. He's saying sending update on loopback, ignored version 2 packet on 3. That's from loopback, no matter. Yes, you can see this one. So guys, let's say if you are receiving any of the device, you are receiving this as invalid authentication. That means, so this is the way you can debug the packet, and you can find out what exactly happening. Let's say you have 2 routers. If somebody given you the task and say that you have 2 routers, but they are not receiving the updates, so you can check whether any kind of authentication is configured. You can run the debug, and you can identify if the invalid authentication packet debug is coming or not, that alert is coming or not. And similarly, if you go on R6 and say debug IP rip, so before that I'll say show IP route. So whatever the route he has configured, you can see the timer. Can you see 2 minutes 7 seconds? Because it's increased, because now he is no longer receive those networks from R3, right? So and you can see the second route which was coming, it's gone. So you can see here also invalid authentication. So this is the way to identify if you have the invalid authentication problem, right? So what I have to do is to make this working, I have to configure R6 as a authentication, same authentication password. So what I'll do is I'll say undebug all, first of all. And similarly, I'll do on R3 also. I'll switch off the debugs. So this is the way you can identify the authentication is invalid right now. So then I'll say same thing, keychain. Key, I'll create a keychain and say keychain name is the main,
Test one.
yeah. So you can take it anything, test 2 also. Here, that doesn't
Okay.
matter because this is on the
Okay.
different router,
Oh.
right? Only the password should match in this case. The key should match. Let's say you have the keyring with you, which is having maybe something, what do you say, any cartoon on that. And I have a keyring with something else, but we both have the same keys we can have, right? So similarly, I'll say test 5, not a problem, and say then key number. Key number also can be anything. That's not a problem. I'll say key 2. Who cares? And then say keychain, key string. Key string is Cisco, right? I think this is the password I have
Yes,
taken there.
yes.
Let me just configure. Oh, I cannot. Only on the here it is. Yeah. Small it is. See, key string small c, Cisco. Cisco, right? And that's it. key string I have configured. Now I have to go into the interface. Now interface will be 2 by 3. Interface serial 2 by 3 and IP rep authentication mode should be the same. Mode MD5 and IP rep authentication keychain test 5. Right? Now if I'll say show IP route, so right now you can see those routes have been deleted. Those were receiving as the um, those were timed out, right? Here. Mm, here it is, 2 minutes 7 seconds. These 1.8 and 1.4, right? And okay, so let's see. 1.8, yeah, here it is. Yes, it came back again, right? So now you said debug IP rip and check it out what exactly happening. And same thing on R3, debug IP rip. R6. Okay, so you can see sending the packet, receiving the packet, but you are not receiving any kind of authentication mismatch right now. Yeah, invalid authentication. So this is the way if somebody, let's say if some hacker came in between, let's say it was a Ethernet interface and somebody did get connected. So you can see received packet with MD5 authentication. This is the one thing to identify if the authentication is running right now. So via authentication, he is receiving these many packets now, right? So this is the way you can identify if the authentication is there or not. So what I was telling is, let's say this R6 and R3 was connected with some switch or something, and somebody is sitting in as a PC. He hacked it with the any kind of tool or Linux or the Kali Linux or maybe the Backtrack or something, right? Or the Parrot Linux, whatever. So many are there for hacking. So it hacked the traffic. So it will receive the encrypted packet, right? So authentication will be there. So if the authenticated person only sitting on the other side, then only the other person is going to receive the routing table. Otherwise, it is not. So we have discussed authentication, load balancing, and yesterday we have talked about. So today we have discussed the authentication, load balancing, timers, and distance, right? About RIP. So this is how we can tune RIP. So you must have configured RIP in CCNA as well, but that was very basic configured RIP and got the routes and done, right? Remember, we can tune with a lot of commands using passive interface, using neighbor commands, using broadcast, using stopping the broadcast, using sending and receiving versions, using auto summarizations and all. So these all are about what I want to tell you about the RIP protocol, RIP version 2. Any doubts you can ask me and we can end the session then. And we'll continue from next Saturday, Sunday at 2 hours a day. Any doubts, guys? You have now? No doubts? Anyone? Any?